Hi Capricorn and Capricorn Rising. Here's your horoscope for October 2024. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, we are in eclipse season. This is the second eclipse in 2 months. Last month we had an eclipse in Pisces, which lit up this third house of communication and ideas. And so this lunar eclipse was all about letting go of bad habits and things that are no longer working for you. And, you're coming to realize things on a much deeper, more spiritual level. And so this month we have a solar eclipse that's going to light up this 10th house of career and status. And so I'm going to talk about that in a minute because it's very important, because this is opening up a doorway for something new to occur for you in the next 6 months to a year. And so this is the house that you're naturally associated with, the 10th house. And we also have Pluto that's going to finally go direct this month as well in your first house, in the last degree of Capricorn, right here in your first house of identity and self. So this is a big month for many of you who are a Capricorn sun sign or a Capricorn rising sign. This is a general Western astrology using tropical and whole house system to give you an idea of what's going on. Of course, it has to be very general because I don't have everybody's birthday, and everyone's birthday and birth charts are completely different. So it's a very general reading, an overview. So we have some really weird energy, as I mentioned at the beginning of the year, coming in the fall season. Started in September, it's going to accelerate in October and into November, which will somehow affect the elections in the United States. I've already mentioned this. We may not even have elections. There may be some major messages or some sort of change that could occur, and I'm seeing that in astrology here. So how does this affect you personally? There's a lot of adaptation that needs to be done this month because Pluto's waking up. We have an eclipse lighting up this part of your chart, and we have Mars in your opposite sign of Cancer. And Mars will be opposing Pluto on November, I believe right around November the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And so this is going to cause some tension. So I want you guys to prepare yourself because there are some tricky alignments this month that are coming in that I'm going to show you that you need to pay attention to. Okay, so at least you're prepared and you have an idea of what's going on. Now, let's start off with this solar eclipse. It's going to be at 10 degrees of Libra. So wherever this is in your actual birth chart, that's the area that gets lit up. But with this sun chart here, it lights up the 10th house of career and status. So something about your current relationship or your job or your title or your business or whatever it is going to start changing. And this will take place in the next 6 months to a year because eclipses can take up to a year to manifest. So we're talking about Libra, the sign of partnerships. All right. So this is a reset in a way in your personal life. Now, Mercury is closely aligned to this solar eclipse. So what that means is there's going to be lots of communication, lots of ideas, lots of need to express yourself in some way. And maybe you're doing it at your job or in your business or whatever you're doing. This is going to come out in your life, So this is going to have some interesting dynamics to it. So what I mean by that is aspects. So first one we see is Mars. Mars is going to be at 15 degrees. This will be at 10 degrees. So there we have what's called a square in astrology. So here we have some tension building up with a partnership or a relationship, some adjustment, some uncomfortable feelings, some uncomfortable conversations that are going to need to be had around this solar eclipse. And by the way, when these solar eclipses hit, usually they come in, we usually feel them within the first week as we're coming into them. And then the week after they hit. So, it's like a week on either side of these eclipses. So it may start happening at the end of September, where this energy starts to build. Somebody is irritating you, something is frustrating you, and you need to change it in some way with this eclipse. Now, the other aspect it makes is to your ruler, Saturn, right here. It's going to be in Pisces in your third house of communication. This is what's called an inconjunct, meaning 150 degrees away. It symbolizes confusion, unrealistic expectations, almost a little bit of a fantasy-prone kind of reaction. So between this and this affecting the solar eclipse, what I'm seeing is conversations and ideas and concepts and with another person or several other people that are going to be a little uncomfortable to deal with. Okay, so I'm sorry to have to point that out, but at least you know. And so this is going to really change things for many of you, because this last eclipse was in Pisces. Maybe you cut off somebody from, being in your life. Maybe you've told them that's enough. I can't do this anymore. Or, you decided to change your thinking and how you perceive this current relationship. Okay. So this is all in the mix this month. And since the sun is going through Libra, the sign of relationships, it's all about fairness and balance and getting things right. So these two aspects are really tricky with this solar eclipse. But there's actually a couple of more alignments that are coming in that also can be a little challenging this month. So let's dive into it. So first we have Jupiter going retrograde in Gemini right there. Now Jupiter in Gemini retrograde, not a big deal. Again, it represents thinking, communication. Here it is in stationary position. This means it's in the 6th house of service and health. And so what this is suggesting is something to do with taking care of your health or physical well-being, your daily routine, maybe dealing with pets. So over the course of the next 4 months or so, 4 or 5, I think it's February the 4th, 2025, is when Jupiter goes direct again. And so there's going to be a lot of thinking. There's going to be a lot of processing of information. And what I'm seeing here, let's say you own a business, okay, and you're restructuring things. Maybe you're changing employees, you're changing healthcare benefits or something along those lines to make way for this new opportunity with that eclipse. So this is going to give you an opportunity to revisit everything, including health matters, mental well-being, physical responsibilities, exercise, diet, all of that stuff fits under this umbrella, which you will be reevaluating during this Jupiter retrograde. Now, Pluto goes direct right here on the 11th, right there at 29 degrees. Here it is in stationary position. So now the energy is starting to loosen up a little bit. It's starting to feel a little bit, okay, I need to get this done. I need to accomplish this. But as soon as Pluto goes direct, we have Mercury squaring Pluto on the 12th and 13th. So there it is, 29, and here's Mercury coming into the square. This is, again, symbolic of conversations or uncomfortable situations that you're going to have to deal with another person. And so it could have something to do with the people you work with, your company, or it could have something to do with a current relationship. And the thing that makes this tricky is the sun is also beginning to square Mars. So it's a very tricky time, especially on the 14th, when Venus opposes Uranus. There's Venus in Scorpio in the 11th house opposing Uranus in Taurus in the 5th house. So this has to do with either a loved one or a current situation with your community or your business, or, surprises with financial matters. This is this push and pull energy here that could really send you for a loop. And what makes this more tricky is now the sun is exactly square Mars. So this could be explosive arguments. This could be very uncomfortable feelings and situations with another person or several other people. So again, I'm not trying to be pessimistic or negative here. I'm just trying to show you how the alignments work and the kind of energy that's going to be at play. And it could be something outside of your own, control. It could be something to do with the government. Could have something to do with the financial markets, the politics. We're in political season here in the United States. And so it could have anything to do with that. So, but I'm just saying there is some intense energy coming in right around the middle of October. Now, the full moon in Aries on the 16th and 17th doesn't help much either, because this one's even stronger. The full moon is going to be at 24 degrees of Aries, opposing the sun at 24 degrees. Okay, so imagine this line going across. And the only reason it's not set like this, because if I'd set it for the 17th, then the moon would be in the next sign. So anyway, my point being is we have this opposition going on between the 10th house and the 4th house. So once again, we're dealing with either work and responsibilities or the home life and home environment, children, anything to do with your family dynamics. But what makes this very tricky is because it's going to be at 24 degrees, it will be squaring Mars at 22 degrees, and it will be squaring Pluto at 29 degrees. So we have a giant T-square that has developed here, and that is pressure, that is tension, that is energy that's erupting, inner frustration with another. And so we have this amazing amount of pressure and tension from like the 12th and 13th on all the way through the full moon. So I would say be very wise, stay centered. Try not to overreact because everyone is going to be on edge at this time. So that full moon is really going to be a catalyst for something. Now, Venus enters Sagittarius later on the 17th, right there. And this should help a little bit, get things done, be a little bit more optimistic. Venus in Sagittarius is definitely more optimistic. And so this could help a little bit alleviate some of the strain, the stress, the worries. But we're not out of the woods, I'm sorry to have to say, but this will help a little bit over the next couple of weeks. But the sun will square Pluto on the 21st and 22nd. There's the sun squaring your ruler, Pluto. Not your ruler, but it's in your sign, Pluto in Capricorn. It's squaring once again, and it's opposing Mars. So now we have a giant T-square developing here, which is all tension-filled, all frustration, irritability, confusion. It's just so much energy coming in at this time that somehow it's going to affect, Capricorns, Cancers, Libras. It's gonna affect the cardinal signs, and of course the other one is Aries. So this is another tension-filled moment here, or couple of days with this energy. The sun goes into Scorpio around the 22nd into the 23rd, right there, highlighting the future. And now your thoughts are turning towards, okay, what do I want now? What do I need to change? Where am I going? What do I need to do? And so there's a lot of talk or thinking about that. And so you're reaching out to friends, organizations, people acquaintances. And so this is going to help, alleviate some of the concerns because Pluto and the sun going through Scorpio is very resilient. It could get through a lot of stuff, but it's a deep psychological sign. So you might find yourself, over worrying about stuff. But this will give you the impetus to figure out what you need to do. And then, of course, the sun, the last aspect of the month is Venus will square Saturn on the 27th and 28th. And so here's Venus at 12 degrees of Sag, squaring your ruler at 12 degrees of Pisces. Again, confusion with money matters or a relationship of some kind. And unfortunately, as you look at Mars right there, it is strongly opposing Pluto in your sign. So once again, I'm seeing a lot of confusion, irritability. We also have the transiting moon in the picture as well. So we have another T-square. So we have another T-square in an opposition between Mars and Pluto. Anytime we have Mars and Pluto in oppositions, it's very tension-filled. It's destructive. It's anger. It's frustration. It could be directed towards something outside of your current situation. So let's keep that in mind because of the politics going on and the changes in the world today. So it could have something to do with banking systems, where they close banks and you can't get your money or something like that. I'm generalizing here to give you an idea of what kind of energy we're dealing with this month. It's so, weird and chaotic, and it's affecting everyone. So anyway, do the best you can, Capricorn. And we'll get through this, and, there'll be something better always when these aspects are not as strong. All right, so if you need some moral support, join my free community. I left the link down below. There's no obligation. You'll be around other people that get it and are, understand what's going on. And there's a lot of interaction going on there with a lot of information about, politics and what's been hidden and so on and so forth. Anyway, do the best you can, Capricorn, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.